turn one. It's one of the hardest corners in the whole track because it's the first corner. Also after the start, it's a bottleneck. Everybody gets collided and gets together. It's a second gear corner. Usually I take him quite tight and let it roll because if you go too slow, the engine drops below the RPM and well, you lose time. After you go to the second, you go to third or fourth gear, depends how your sprockets are. It's a long left-hander. It's a hard corner because lots of time you think you have oversteer, but then you go on the throttle and then you have understeer. So it's quite hard to set up the chassis. What I always like to do is take it in third gear and very short, and then take as much speed to the next left-hander. It's almost full gas, one of the exciting corners of the track. What I always want to do is close the inside for the next corner because you always have fast guys behind you on that part of the track. So the next one is a tight hairpin. After is a very important straight. Usually you take it in second gear, the hairpin, so you have lots of speed in the exit, and then try to get the sixth gear, but it's not always when the track's really good. You get to sixth. When the track's not so good, you get to fifth gear. And then you go back to third, into the chicane. It's quite famous because the curb on the inside is quite high, and you take it and you lose the wheels, and then it's quite nice to drive. But the chassis doesn't like it too much. But it's very important to shift on the curb because it's a time gainer or a time loser. And the corner after the chicane is very important to set up the chassis very well. It's a long right-hander. It's fourth gear, and then you come through the corner. And if your chassis is right, you have to steer 1 or 2 times, not more. But most of the guys, they slide and they lose 1-2 tenths usually if the chassis is not right. If you go to the next hairpin, it's quite a nice corner, really slow or really fast. It's a 2-line corner. You can do it in third gear or in the second gear. Usually I prefer in the second gear because in the race you always drive second gear, and then you go out really tight, and if you do third gear you make it really wide. So you also use a little bit more tire. Then you go on to the grandstand in front of the catering area. It's my favorite spot to overtake, so everybody be prepared. I remember my world championship there. I took the lead in 2011, so it was quite one of my favorite corners because it's very hard braking, back to third gear, and then cut the wheel to go in, very smooth out because it's bumpy and bumpy. Then you go around the grandstand to a left-hander. Fourth gear, quite fast. Chassis is not so important, but the driver has everything under control in that corner. You go into the last corner, it's always tricky because if you go in wide, it's faster, but if you go in too wide, people get inside you and then push you off the line, and then you lose 4 or 5 spots. You see it many times in the races if you drive here. And what I prefer is a little bit more to the inside, third gear, and then directly up to fourth, fifth, and then come over start-finish line, and hopefully your engine is a better engine than your fellow driver and you keep the lead. So that's my lap around Genk.